Dear strong, black, independent woman who doesn't need black men. I got this. I do this on my own. Help is for the needy and the weak. Alright? This is why what you ask for does not compute or make sense to us. Because you have this persona about, you put this persona out there about how strong you are and how well off you are because you're doing it on your own. And yet you say, oh, if you can't help me do this and if you can't help me do that, I don't want to have nothing to do with you. So, just to analogize for a brief moment, do you walk up to a rich man and say, here's a few dollars. Here's a few dollars to help with your cause. Do you walk up to someone who just finished eating and offer them a plate, a full plate of food? Does that make sense at all? Do you walk up to someone who is clearly eating an apple and offer them another apple? As simple as I can put it. So here's the thing. I'm not telling you to be weak. I'm telling you that we have a different expectation for you when you put out there how strong you are. We don't expect to have to walk in and do everything because you're telling us how strong and how much you don't need me to do anything. So how can you get mad about me not knowing what you need me to be? Because what you're saying you want and you need is totally different than the person that we meet. Strong black woman, alpha female. See, I'm staying on these subjects because at the end of the day, shit got to make sense, y'all. It's got to make sense. We hear this all the time. I don't need nobody for nothing. So, okay, then be happy. And here's the thing. If you don't need nobody for nothing, what are you asking for a partnership for? Why do you want to be a partner with someone if you're not even going to appreciate the fact that this partner is making life easier on you by providing whatever they provide? Because you can barely, if you choose to, you can barely skim by if you want to and feel like that is a win. See, what happened is we took things that are negatives and made them into positives, and we cheer people on for those negatives. Failed relationships that lead to single parenthood is a failure. But yet we cheer those on in our culture. Your kids are supposed to have both parents in the house. And if they don't, that is a failure. But you have these things and these accolades that aren't accolades. It's not an accolade to want to struggle. It's not an accolade to be a person who would rather struggle. Because sometimes relationships end over shit. A lot of times relationships end over shit that it shouldn't end over. See, I do these videos and I've started these groups on Facebook to try to help bridge the gap between us. But until there is a reality that is accepted, no gap will ever be bridged. And it just is what it is. When do we admit to ourselves that we are failing ourselves in this life? That you weren't meant to do it all alone. And that's why you feel so bitter about having to do it all alone. But in the meantime, you make it into like you're bitter, and while you're being bitter, you make it into it's a benchmark now for you to be this single independent woman. And then you can't even get out the way of yourself to actually recognize when the good ones come into your life. It doesn't matter if you don't have a good one in your life, because you get praised for doing it on your own anyway. You're playing with house money. That is a simple fact. I love y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Show off.